Hey everybody, welcome to another week where Jermaine and I sit down and discuss what you as a small and micro business owner are going through. We both run our own businesses, and so we know exactly how you feel. And this is a general discussion just to make sure that you know you're not the only one out there. 10 years. So I thought let's focus on Jermaine, just a little bit about you. So and where you come from. Jermaine, tell us, how old are you?
I'm, I'm 44 this year, Richard. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's been a good journey. You know, like you said, it's been a lot of challenges, it's been a lot of ups and downs. But you know, even with the downs, even with the challenges, you tend to take the positives out of it. You know, I, 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 I don't try and dwell too much on the negatives. Um, I think the older I'm getting, and you know, the going through this journey as an entrepreneur has actually taught me that, you know, even if there is negative aspects of the journey, try and take the positives out of it. So
Okay.
and try to enjoy the successes that you mentioned, the small little
Yeah.
victories.
Cool.
I think that's very important. I think it's very important.
Great stuff. So you're speaking about the successes and enjoy the small things about that.
Mm,
What's your
mm.
business name at the moment? And we can see it in the logo, the
Yeah,
bottom.
yeah. Well, that's a good question because a lot of people get it wrong. Um,
Sale.
to the point. Well, there's been a couple of variations to the name.
Yeah.
It's been Sale. It's been Sial. Sial is the one that comes up a lot. But our name is actually Sial. Sial Consulting Incorporated. Short, Sial Consulting Inc. Um,
Not
there's always a
pencil.
question, not pencil.
Okay. Perfect.
There's always been a question. Then the typical question is, so how did you come up with the name? It wasn't
You,
it
you
was
know,
with
you know,
the initial founders weren't very creative
yeah.
when they
So
when
I
they
find
when they
I found so sorry. I find that when
no,
people talk about the company name and all of that stuff, it doesn't matter. Like, don't let that
yeah,
stop you. Like they
mm,
and we spoke about it in a previous episode.
last week,
Is
yeah,
that
yeah,
like you have ABC Incorporated, you have ABC Trading. It doesn't actually matter. You can always change it. Like later on, have a trading as the name doesn't matter. It's what you end up branding yourself as that is important. Are you the best in what it is that you do?
mm, mm.
Do you command a market segment, or do your customers sing your praise? I think those are the things that are way more important than what your name is, your company name.
Yeah,
um
yeah,
there are some uninteresting company names out there, like Alphabet. I mean, she was talk
yeah.
about not being creative, but and that's a big
Yeah,
company.
it- it's I think you're right. I think people get too bogged down and they spend hours thinking about the what's got to be the right name. Thankfully, our initial partners, they just came up with letters, put it together. There you go.
Nice.
So
Okay.
it's still a good story to tell.
Great stuff. Is this your first venture that you are part of, and or and where do you come from? I
Oh,
mean, what is
so
your
so
educational
I
background? Let's talk about something.
so yeah, my journey started obviously when I was at high school. The I think I always wanted. I was talking to my staff this morning actually about, you know, what the topic is today and my journey, and I actually wanted to be an architect. I thought I had this the gift of the gab in terms of drawing buildings, but that didn't last. I went to Pentech University in Basel, and I studied internal auditing as a major. Um, so that was obviously all geared towards controls, system controls, etc.
And is that a
Straight out of
is that a 3 year, 4 year? How long was it?
It was a 3-year diploma,
Yeah.
and then I did my articles at the same time, and I did my BTech degree over a 2-year part-time
Right.
period, which was very tough because 8-hour workday, had to dash, take the train, take 2 trains actually to get to Bellville. But yeah, persevered, and yeah, I sort of didn't quite finish my honors because I wanted to get into the entrepreneurial space
Mm.
pretty quickly. So uh, the CA qualification wasn't really something that I was heading towards, you know. So in 20, I think in 2010, I was still working for the company, and I soon realized that, you know, I wanted to do something for myself. I had a good feeling for working with people. I always tell my guys at the office that, you know what, I'm not necessarily the best at accounting or the best in auditing or the best in tax, but I always had this gift of joining people,
Yeah.
and understanding people's needs. And I might not necessarily have that answer for you, but I know how to connect you to the person that does. So I actually in 2010, Richard, I decided to start my own little accounting practice called Omniscient Accounting, CC. And that was actually doing very well, but I soon realized I'm going to outgrow it because I could only do it after hours. So, you know, that was a bit tough.
Yeah.
Working over weekends, working late nights.
Side hustle.
So didn't, yeah, little side hustle there. Didn't moonlight at all during my employer's time. So, but saw an opportunity, and then that same employer is actually a client today. So it worked out for both of us. And then, yeah, in 2012, I decided to join Sial Consulting. Sort of
Yeah.
resurrected again because it was kind of parked for a year or so. And the journey started in 2012. April 2012 was when I joined Sial.
Cool. So that's super interesting. You talking about you moonlighting. And it's a similar story to mine. I also built out my company for 2 years before I went full time into it, um, and I didn't take away from my employer at that time. I didn't take away from their time. I actually set these goals that I had to. Not only was it because they got to a point, so there was years. I mean, our domain, imagination of Tira was registered in 2002. I only registered a actual business at the in 2007, and then went full time in 2010. So so there's like 8 years there of just tinkering around and messing and doubting
Yeah.
myself and sort of not knowing what to do and then making
Mm,
excuses and all of those things.
mm,
So
mm,
the moonlighting thing is very similar to what I did, because when I finally started taking my business seriously and said, look, either I'm going to climb the corporate ladder and like be good at my job, or I'm going to do this
mm,
business thing. And I set myself some
mm,
goals for the business side of it, so that I had to sort of
mm,
get some revenue and consistent
mm,
revenue. So there was
mm.
that, because I had a family, and I had a bond and
Yeah.
those kind of stuff going
Yeah.
on, and lifestyle. So I
Mm,
said those things, but then I also said, well, I also got to be really good at my day job, my work, what I'm getting paid for, salary, because I just
mm,
felt that was fair, that was right. And so,
mm,
I mean, I did both those things. And then when it got to that day that I needed to step full time into the business, that I had to quit my job, I was still so freaked
mm,
out and
mm,
afraid and scared.
mm,
And
mm.
yeah, so it's interesting to hear that part of your journey.
Yeah.
So
I
in
mean,
what
yeah.
yeah, so go for it.
No, sorry, Richard. Just my decision was actually made for me. All right. So you just said, you had time to think about your timing, whether you had to step up to, take that leap of faith. I must actually thank my previous employer, because he was sort of downscaling as well at the same time. And we just said, listen, let's just come to some sort of agreement that if we do decide to downscale, and it's typically when someone don't really see the value of what accountants actually add to a company, because they're more not like sitting at at the back end, not driving sales really. Yeah, I actually till this day I say thank you for making that decision, because
Wow.
it was the best decision ever.
Yeah, it's similar to, I mean, everyone's situation where you are is not where you're meant to be, you know.
Yeah.
So, like, you're always in a growth stage, no matter what's happening. So, even now, in your business right now, where I am in my business, it doesn't mean that that's like where we are going to be. We're never going to be anywhere, man. You just are where you are. And
Mm,
you have to have focus on a goal and then working towards it. So cool. Yeah,
mm,
that happens. Yeah, people get pushed out, and that
mm,
opportunities.
mm,
It's what you did with the opportunity, or what you did with that situation that made all the difference for your success. How
mm.
long has it been now? How long have you been in business?
2012. So that would be what,
Oh,
eight
eight
eight years?
years. Great.
8 years. Yeah.
That's a decent
So
stretch.
yeah. So it's like I said, it's been we've reached some good milestones in our journey, and hopefully there's more to come. Because I think I mentioned it in a couple of episodes back about you got to constantly evolve, A, as a person, and B, your business. So I feel that I'm there at the moment again. It's almost like a fourth sort of evolution coming.
Mm.
So
What's bringing
yeah.
you? What's making you say that? Is it COVID?
Well, no, not this. I think COVID. I can honestly say that it wasn't. It actually has nothing to do with COVID. I think it's just on that growth. Sometimes you feel that you just need a bit of something extra. Whether in our case we went on a campaign where we started off with three staff members. Now we're on 13, and you kind of take a step back and you go, okay, COVID, yes, people had to start working remotely. You start looking at the type of clients you're attracting. Is does your company goals still align with your personal goals? So all of that things, I sort of looked internally, and I personally feel if you don't ask yourself those questions, then you become complacent,
Mm-hmm.
and you almost, that's a very bad place to be. So even having these conversations, Richard, was a big thing for me, because it's not something that for people who don't know me, they probably think I'm a very quiet person, and a lot of clients say it when they meet me for the first time. I don't necessarily talk easily in that first meeting or so, especially if it's not just myself, and Alan's maybe in the meeting. But they certainly get to know me as they go through their journey with Sial.
Mm. Yeah. So I mean, so now you've been in business 8 years, and you've got your skin in the game. You've given your pint or two of blood, to make this a success. What has
Lost a bit of
been,
hair as well.
well, lost a bit of, you know, yeah. Well, sometimes I make fun and say, especially when you lose things, I would say I wish, you could take, like, you must take some fat and put it on the thing that you are afraid of losing, because you always seem to gain the fat back. So it's bad joke. Anyway, my attempt at a joke.
Yeah.
So I mean, in this 8 years now that you've been in business, when you contemplate and you think about it, like, what's that one thing that is your north star? What is the thing that keeps you going? It keeps you motivated through all the the mud and the good days, the bad days? How do you center yourself over time, not just on a particular day, but over time? How have you looked at, thinking about it now, when you look back at it, say like, this is the thing that always guided me. This is the thing that sort of drew me to carry on, to push forward, to not give up, to not sort of say, okay, I'm out, let me go get a job or whatever it is. What is that for you?
I think that North Star for me, if I can answer your question now, is basically I love making a difference in the lives of clients. Their success is my success. So I thrive on that. Yes, there's I also have to have with people say, yeah, but you need to make a lot of money. And yes, that's important. People that says, the money doesn't matter, I think they're talking absolute nonsense. But the money,
Come
the
on, the
money,
money's not important.
the money, no, the money, the
We
money,
we
but the
the
money will,
food is
the money
free.
will
We just
come.
we open our fridges and there's food in it, right?
It's
That's
there. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yes, you'd love more, and who doesn't want to have more? But what I'm trying to say is, your success as a client, if I can make a difference in your business, it gives me great satisfaction. The more success you have, the more success we have, because we retain you as a client, and a successful one at that.
oh,
So, there's days, like you said, Richard,
yeah.
tough days. You don't want to get up. And I've gone through it. I get up in the morning and I'm like, I know I'm going to struggle with this particular exercise, but I get up and I take small little bites at the problem,
Yeah.
and eventually you'll get there. You'll get
Yeah,
there.
I found that also works. So even though you're having a bad day, like, if you set yourself like one or two small goals, like, if I do these things today, like, I'll be good. Um, and so you got to have your morning mantra. And if you're out there and you don't actually know what that is, like, a morning mantra is something that you tell yourself every single day when you wake up. um,
Mm.
it's a mental meditation. So it's because we so easily fill ourselves with bad negative thoughts, of whatever it is. And it doesn't matter what kind of person you are, I guarantee you that you do this. Like,
Yeah.
you
Mm.
downgrade yourself, man. You don't lift yourself up. We are taught for some weird reason in society not to speak good about ourselves.
Mm.
So we don't lift ourselves up. We don't know how to do that. And so you do a bit of
Mm.
self-talk. You do your morning mantra.
Mm.
Actually say,
Mm.
mine goes something like this. I won't do the whole thing. It's got like, this is a wonderful day. Like, I'm
Mm.
so excited about today. People
Mm.
are waiting for me to do my work. I love my work.
Mm.
So that's kind of, stuff that you're just saying to yourself. And it's not like
Yeah.
boasting or anything like that. It's just literally psyching yourself up for the day, and it becomes easy to deal with. And you find that if you set yourself just like one or two small tasks to do, that when
Mm.
if you've actually done
Mm.
those things,
Mm.
then it's fantastic. And if you're looking for some motivation, or I've got a video that I made about how to stay motivated when the music's not playing. I'll link to it somewhere, and then or in the link description. And then you can go ahead and watch that. It's a fantastic video. I made it, so it's biased. But it's just a little tool, a little hack that I use, my
Yeah.
calendar, to help motivate me. And it's still use it today. And I look and I go, I still feel like I've actually did value. I didn't do as much as I want to do, but I still did something. And that's important to
Mm.
have for you at the end of the day.
Mm.
So Jermaine, business. So that's your North Star, making sure clients are happy. I find that very fluffy. I know it's true, but
Yeah.
I find those things very fluffy. If
Mm.
if there was a do over for you, like business wise, the lessons that you've learned, like, what would you do, speaking to a younger you? What would you tell you to do differently?
Hmm. I'm looking at my younger self now. What
And
would I do
wondering
differently?
what happened to all that hair?
What happened to all the years? I um Probably taking a bit more risk, Richard. I mean, I, people that sort of know me, they know I wouldn't say I don't take risk, but it's probably a bit more calculating risk. But yeah, I think just be a this type of thing, for example, our conversations. I'd probably be more on the trying to drive that aspect a bit more because I've always been in the background um, of conversations in terms of I let the people who's good at talking do their thing. Um, but yeah, probably just be a bit more upfront. Yeah, I don't know if that's making any sense. And
Yeah, it does.
yeah, probably just risk a bit more, in terms of being a bit more in the forefront,
Yeah.
and not being that what I'm the guy who's gonna just make sure the work gets done.
Yeah,
Um, you
there's
know,
there's
so
um there's a few there's a, I mean I'm an introvert, and there's lots of
no.
no one believes me. I'm a shy person. No
No,
one
yeah, Richard,
believes me.
I'm an extreme introvert.
So it's very weird. It's very weird for me. Like this is fine, but I mean, there are situations where, like in a before COVID, there'd be like you go to these what do they call like meetups and like social events or whatever it is. I'm very very bad at it. Like it's if you once I tell you that, and then you see me at one of these things, and you go like, oh yeah, yeah you are. You're terrible. Like networking, like I'm bad at it. I force myself to do because I know it's important, but it is such a it's against all the feelings in my body. I tend to pull away from it. Um, but on the other hand, I'd stand on a stage and speak to 5,000 people, no problem. Like I'm that kind of guy. I'd feel like I want to vomit just before going on stage, but I'd go on stage and I'd have an amazing time. So
Yeah.
I'm weird. So I'm not quite sure where I was going with it. Anyway, so you're talking about being the introvert and then putting yourself out and that kind of risk. So like being on this kind of thing, doing we spoke about doing podcasts like this for a long time,
I know, I know. Yeah.
and so I get it.
I, I,
And
I, so I guess that's a typical example. I mean, you were ready with this. You wanted to do this with me for a while now, and it wasn't like I was like, no, I don't want to do it. It's not my thing. But a part of me had that, what's that word I'm looking for? It did scare me a bit. So obviously with a host like yourself, it makes it a bit easier. But yeah, this has been a journey in the making for a
yeah,
while, and this
so
would have been typically something I wanted to do probably a bit earlier in my journey.
yeah, I'm drawing blanks today. I'm not sure what's going on, but there's also this in some way. I remember learning this lesson. It says, "What's the difference between fear and excitement?"
Mm.
Like,
Uh,
do you know what's
it's
the
a
difference?
good. That's no.
Cool. So okay, let's strip it down to like the basics, the emotions. What happens when you're afraid? Like your heart starts beating faster, right? Like you feel a certain level of anxiety. It's butterflies in your stomach, right? Your palms might get sweaty, right?
Tricky.
Right. That's
Mm.
fear. So tell me, what
Mm.
happens when you are excited? Your heart starts
Yeah,
beating
it's the
a
starts
little bit
beating. Yes.
faster.
Yes.
You get
Yeah.
butterflies in your stomach,
Butterflies. Yeah.
and your
Yeah.
palms might get a bit sweaty.
Yes.
The
So
biological reactions are the same.
yeah,
It's the
it's the same.
mental
Yeah.
positioning of
Mm.
that emotion that is the difference. So
Yeah.
if you watch sports professionals in interviews, you know, before a big game, they'll always say, "I'm excited. I'm so excited," and that's again coming back to the morning mantra, the self talk. Like telling yourself
Mm.
that today is going to be a great day, today is going to be a good day, is a very good practice to use. Um, and so even for these things, I still go like, "Oh, I'm excited to do the podcast." I notice you use similar language when we talk off air. You say yeah, I'm so excited. I'm talking to the team like about what's gonna happen today, and you show up ready for it, and so that's kind of
Mm.
like, if I can steal a little bit of your interview and go and speak to the person watching this, is that, like, challenge yourself to do something that scares you just a little bit, like,
Yeah,
because you
yeah.
probably, that fear is the same thing as excitement. It's exactly the same
Mm.
thing as excitement, just the word you choose to use. So
Mm.
whenever you can catch yourself before you say that word fear and change it and use the word excited, it'll change your perception of it.
Well said.
Yeah, so Jermaine, and then obviously now in your entrepreneurial experience, you look at your younger self, you say take a little bit more risks.
Mm.
You've been in business a while. Thank you for that. What do you see on the future? What's on the horizon for you as an individual, but I think in the entrepreneurial landscape, what do you think people should be doing differently based on your experience?
I think every startup that or every business, whether you slightly new in the journey, it's something that I've actually had to learn pretty quickly. That it's great, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, Richard. But it's great having your own business and shaping it and molding it and all of that. Stuff that comes with it, But you almost must be prepared to, if someone comes along and he makes a ridiculous offer, right? Almost have that as your mini goal. Not that you'll sell up and everything that you've worked for will go down the drain. But if someone comes up with a fantastic offer, they love what you're doing. They see the potential in your business. Um, you know, that almost must be a mini. I almost see it as a mini goal. And I mean, we've had numerous
Yeah,
conversations um, about that type of discussions.
yeah,
And it was something that when we had a conversation a couple of years ago about it, it was something that I didn't quite grasp at the time. How do you want to build something that you can, take through the roof, in terms of generating income, making super profits.
yeah.
But that's also a possibility. You might get an offer, and you decide whether you want to accept or reject it. So, it's something that I'm excited about in
Yeah.
terms of I want someone to come to us and say, "Wow, your business is
Yeah,
doing
you,
fantastically well."
Cheers. You think that's maybe we should make it its own episode, but like not having an exit strategy is a fail.
Mm.
And that's what I did in my business. Like I created a retirement plan rather than a business, and I didn't
Mm.
understand like that you should have an exit somewhere, something, somehow you should build that in. Um,
Mm.
and for me it started like I was traveling one day, and I was on the way back to the airport in the Uber, and the guy was telling people like we're just having conversation, and he was like, oh cool, and he had like sold like 4 businesses already and had like couple of billion in the bank. Like, I mean, whether or
Mm.
not that was true, like
Mm.
I believed every word he was telling me, because like you could see it in his posture. Maybe he's told that story
Posture.
so many times that it
Yeah.
becomes
Yeah.
believable. But it doesn't matter, and
Mm.
it got me thinking: is that what am I doing? I'm gonna be I'm gonna be working my entire life. Do I want to just work this one job? And should I maybe have some better idea from like an exit point of view, at least the consideration for it? Because what it did was, before I was never open to it. I was like, I'm
Mm.
gonna make this like 100 billion, $1 jillion, whatever business, and that's
Mm.
tough to do. And
Mm.
I never entertained the thought that, well, maybe build it to like 5 million or 10 million and then sell
Mm.
it, and then take
Mm.
whatever proceeds you get from that and then build something else. But to be
Mm.
fixated on the one thing, so the way we are,
Mm.
it was a
Mm.
mistake. Like just being focused on where
Mm.
we are and not thinking about where we could be and the multiple ways that you could get there. You know, if you think about a trip, you can take different routes to get to a destination from wherever you are. It's not just one road. And so, yeah, that's kind of, and that's where I am at the moment. Like, and that's how I'm trying to redefine this business. That's what also pushed me to say, you know, hey, you've got to do something with media and video and all these different things and market differently and better and come up with other ideas rather than just the same old channels that I was doing and the same old business trading time for money. Like it just was no, it wasn't fruitful. And sort of get to a point where, you know, where we're waking up, like if you have to force yourself to do your morning mantra, like really force it for too many days or too many weeks in a row, like something's not right. So
Something's
fortunately I'm
not
not
right.
at that
Yeah.
point. I do have bad days or bad weeks, but fortunately I'm still okay, but I have a better understanding. Other businesses, ideas, things that you wish you could do today, but that you just don't have capacity to do.
Um, Sure. I think I probably, I think I'm in that space at the moment where, you know, I've set something up pretty well at the moment in terms of my existing business, all right? And it will be interesting, you know, down the line. And I think you just mentioned it now in terms of, you know, constantly having to ask yourself and looking inside to see if you're supposed to still be on this path, right? And I don't think anyone should be afraid to ask that question. You're not doing anyone a disservice by you looking internally. And if my staff is listening to this at the moment, don't worry, don't panic. You know, it's it's self growth. It's I have to ask
That's not what he
myself
told me,
these
guys.
questions.
That's not what he
So I think that's important. I think I actually give those uh, uh, talks to my guys as well to say you have to ask these questions. If someone asks me, my one employee asked me this morning, I said, "No, go watch the conversations with Jermaine and with Richard on LinkedIn or YouTube." She's like, "Yeah, I've gone into LinkedIn and someone offered me a job." I'm like, "Fantastic." You know, if someone offers you a job, it means we got the right staff member right here at Sial. So I don't see it as a threat.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm trying to say, Richard. I want everyone to sit down in your quiet time and ask yourself these questions. You know, are you are you fulfilled? B, must you still stay on this journey? And C, what can you do better?
Yeah.
You know, to take it to the next level.
Yeah. True.
Um, so,
I've had yeah, in the earlier years of imagination, I used to tell people joining the company or they come for interviews or something like that, and I say, you know, they ask like, why you ask these questions? I say, well, you know, technically we expect you to have a certain knowledge. Like that's just the if you show up on your first day of work and you actually can't do these things, we'll just fire you. Like it's that easy. I want to know if you've got the mental capacity to be here, and if you've got the right stuff, the personality to be here. Because when you work at Imagination, you will get job offers because people know the training that I put people through.
yeah.
That's become a reputation. Some can handle it, some can't. I'm not a like a the Steve Jobs type, you know, shouting at people. I'm not like that, but I just like I know that to be excellent at something, like I unteach some of the falsehoods you were taught at whatever stage of your life in terms of work and how to get things done and your capacity to be able to do more than you think you can do. And I try to bring that out in people. And then if you work at Imagination for a year, I always say that's like 5 years experience in any other corporate company.
Yeah.
And so bringing that that value, you know, into people as well, so that they can be marketable. One of the things I've always done is say, like, before you accept an offer from someone external, talk to me about it. Maybe we can get more money. And I was like, it's genuine because businesses, I don't understand business leaders that try to hold on to people for too long. Like it's insane. Like you need to work on that. Like you need to have new people come in all the time. You need to be able to be challenged by your staff, your team. They're there to get you to think differently, which is exactly what we're trying to get you to do here. You don't want you to watch this and just agree with everything we're saying. It's to challenge your thinking.
Challenge, yeah.
Have I thought of this? Have I actually gone into this? And if you've got something that you think we're not doing, comment. Leave us a comment. Let us know what we should be doing differently and how we should be challenging ourselves. Jermaine, any closing thoughts as we close this off? It's all about you. What do you want people to know? What do you want them to walk away with? The Jermaineism.
I like that, Richard. Thank you. No, just as final sort of comments from my side. I mean, I've been extremely blessed over the last 8 years of the journey. I've met some amazing people, amazing clients, amazing friendships through this journey. It's a lot of people will say, you got your own business. It must be you have it all. And those are people that don't know the challenges as entrepreneurs you go through on a daily basis. But for those same people, yes, it's a fantastic journey to go on. And if you mentally strong, then you can deal with all the pitfalls that come through. I'm still learning, and I want to continually be on this learning phase of my journey. So yeah, just don't be afraid to take that leap of faith, and just trust in the process.
Don't be afraid. Be excited. That's great. Hey, we should come up with some sort of outro line or something, like whatever. This is. But thanks. My name is Richard Zainat, and if you've been watching through to the end, thank you so much for being here with us today. My co-host, who is
Jermaine Bull.
And we'll catch you the next episode. Cheers.
Cheers.